Hello and welcome. It's me, Dr. G. In this video, we are going to talk about progress tracking. So let's go. So our learning target for today is I can navigate Dr. Gillum's daily agenda to locate assignments and lesson links, and I can navigate and use Wavio for progress tracking. All right, so you will need Wavio and Google Classroom open in order to better understand what you're about to learn. So you're going to go to post.mywavio.com and you're going to sign in using your Google credentials. And then also just have a window of Google Classroom open because it just helps as you go through this journey. Now, before we go any further, I want you to just take a moment and pause this video and make sure that you have your note-taking worksheet with you, which is for your guided notes. If you don't, pause this video and then come on back. All right, if you're still here, that means you have your guided notes and you are ready. All right, so every day that you come into class, as you just learned in your previous training module, you're going to be opening up Google Classroom. And once you go into Google Classroom, you are going to open up your class starter and then your daily agenda. Okay, so we talked about how the lesson outcomes, those will be written on your class starter sheet. And then you need to start your class starter, right? So you can go to Google Classroom and then go to your topics tab and then look for class starter. And then whatever day we are on, that's where you are going to pick up. Now, to get to your daily agenda, every single time it's going to be linked to an image that looks like this. Sometimes the virtual classroom might change, but this will always remain the same. So you're going to click on the image agenda to access the actual agenda, okay? Remember, your lesson links will not be linked in Google Classroom. So my class is a little bit different in that sense because I know most of your classes, they put the assignment and then they link it. I know, I've heard it for many years because I've been doing it like this for forever. But I'm getting you ready for the next phase in life. And sometimes in college classrooms, everything is not going to be linked into a Google Classroom. As a fact, most colleges don't even accept Google Docs or use Google Classroom. So what I'm teaching you is a skill that you're going to need to transfer over into the next phase of life. So I know, I get it. You need to know how to upload documents because you won't be able to just boom, click submit, and then it goes to the teacher. That doesn't normally happen. So we're just preparing for the next phase of life. All right. So once you get into the daily agenda, it's going to always open up with what day it is. It'll have a motivational message or just some kind of message here. That's what I always like to do. If I happen to be absent, I will create a video and you will click on that video and you'll watch it so it will guide you through what you need to do for the day because I understand substitutes don't always understand. All right, so if we're going to have a daily quiz, it'll tell you the daily quiz, what the daily quiz is going to be on. And then here I have the daily message. Really, this daily message is to remind you what do you need to turn in today, what was past due, because again, remember in this class we do self-pacing, so I just kind of want to make sure that you know like, okay, this is what you should have been working on. And then what is the current homework for that night? So if there's current homework, you're going to find it here under home learning. Now, the next thing that I need to explain to you is this slide. Every slide 3 will always be this. So what happens is we get a lesson. And a lesson you have like A, B, C, like I alphabetize it. And I'll tell you what it is that we're working on. But as we go through it, I'm going to cross it out, which means if I crossed it out, you should have turned it in. But it's okay if you don't. Remember, because as long as you get it done by the deadline, the target deadline, you're okay. I cross it out as we have completed it in class because, again, the goal is to go from must do, should do to aspire to do. The lesson is set up for you to go through everything. Okay? Just want to make sure that you understand that. And then I'll remind you, okay, we're on class starter 14. Go into the classroom. It tells you again, write the quote, write the questions. So if you do lose points, you know why you've lost points. It'll tell you the next set. So if we're working on 11 through 15, that's going to be the next set due. And then most importantly, here is where we are currently in a lesson. So you'll get a box and it'll tell you like where we are. This is what we're working on today. This box will tell you what it was that we were working on. And if you missed the day or you're trying to get caught up, you can find it. And notice all of these things are hyperlinked. So this will take you to that activity. So if you need to know what it is going to take you there. And then this just kind of walks through the agenda of what it is that we're doing. And then here, if you're working ahead of pace, I'll say, hey, this is what you could be working on, reminding you to fill out the today accomplished. If we're working in teams, this, so basically, I think you get the gist of it. Just kind of wanted you to see. Again, the daily agenda, it tells you, okay, this is what we're working on. See, we do whole class, and then with self-paced. So I'll release you and say, okay, you got time to work on whatever it is that you need to work on. So we go there. Again, if somebody has any announcements they want me to make, I make those. And then the weekly recap. So every week I will post like everything that we've worked on for that entire week. So it's all in one spot. So you don't have to go digging through Google Classroom. You can find it also right here. Okay. And then I always close out the class with one of my motivational thoughts for the day. And then here is just letting you know if you have any issues with anything digitally, hey, let me know, send me a screenshot. Don't just say, oh, it's not working. Well, what's not working? Help me help you by sending in that screenshot. All right. And so now Wavio. Wavio is going to be the tool that we're going to be using for our progress tracking. So please open up Wavio now if you have not already done so. So pause this video and go to Wavio. All right. So again, if you are back with me, that means you have Wavio open. And so I'll just kind of explain it to you. So I will start posting on the big board, like where everybody is in a lesson. So you may know who it is that you're going to be working with or not. So how do I get this data? Let's get there. You help me get there by going in and checking off your assignments as you complete them. So there are parts of this lesson. So here, this tells you the name of the lesson we're working on. So this was inheritance of traits. It's going to let you know where you are in a lesson, like how much you have completed. You'll have like your due dates. Here, it'll tell you if it's a must do. If you click right here, it will take you to a link of the activity. So if you're like, tic-tac-toe, what is that? You would click here and it will take you there. And then as you go through the lesson, you have this little location icon to let you know where you are. And again, based on where you say that you are, will determine where you fall at on the progress tracker. And then if I need to leave you some feedback, it's going to go right here. Okay. And so it tells you like all of your must do's, what it is, if it's notes or video. This is like a great platform. Also, what you're going to get at the beginning of each lesson is what I call the other progress tracker, where again, it looks just like how it looked on slide 3, where it's color coded and it'll tell you what your must do's are, your should do. So there is no reason for anybody to say, hey, I couldn't find something, I'm lost, because it's in multiple spaces except linked to Google Classroom. I know. And then sometimes you'll get a game board like you did for Unit 0. I won't always give game boards like this because those things do take time to make, but you will always get one that looks like this one. We'll always get something that looks like this. And every now and again, we get the game board. Everything is hyperlinked. You click on the images, it'll take you to hyperlinks. And then most importantly, I will give you like, what are your soft deadlines, and your hard deadline will always be written in red. So lastly, when we are doing our grouping, sometimes you're going to be put into stations. And I make those stations according to like where you are in the lesson. So you'll get this, it'll be linked to the daily agenda, and it'll say, hey, this is what you need to be working on today. So again, I do help you get to success. You just have to follow the recipe. Like I will give you the recipe. You just got to go in there and bake it and cook it. And then at the end, you'll have this wonderful dish if you follow it. So this is pretty much how it goes. It'll tell you who you're working with for that particular day and what it is that you're going to be doing at that station. Sometimes I do small groups, meaning I pull you in and we do some one-on-one type of things there. So, just letting you know, you're not going to be on your own. And then there will be a board in the classroom that's going to have like where are we at in the lesson, when it's going to be due. So please know that you're going to have what you need. And when we're doing rotations, if you start out in blue, you're going to be following a certain path. But that's going to make more sense as you continue on your journey in this class with me. So again, here's kind of what it looks like in our classroom setting. That was my old classroom that I had up there. So it'll be on the board for you. All right, so that brings us to the end of our video. Again, hopefully you're understanding. If you have any questions, just raise your hand and I'll be right there to help you. All right, guys, bye-bye.